Praise be the Omnissiah, and today we're taking another look at Tactica Mechanicum, where we are gonna take a quick gander at the Karacnos Assault Tank Datasheet. In these videos, we are looking at the datasheet, its point cost, the statistics it has, war gear, traits, any options that the unit might have, special rules, and the type of the unit. As always, this is a look of a new player, myself, that being myself, into the Mechanicum in 30k in the new edition. So for any of you more experienced players, if you have your own opinions or if I have said something wrong, please write down your comments in the comment section down below. And we're gonna start this off by reading the description of the unit, which I think it adds a nice little bit of flavor to the whole thing. And we'll be doing it slightly differently this time, as I'm trying out new things. Before, it was an actual top-down video that I was doing, where I would have my Liber Mechanicum in front of me, and we would go through the datasheet in that way, by looking at the actual book. This time, I've taken a picture from the same top-down view, and we will be going through the picture itself, and we'll see we will see how this will affect your viewing pleasure. If you think this is a downgrade compared to the actual video recording, we will go back to the top-down recording of the video by looking at the actual book instead of a picture of the book. But please do let me know in the comments down below which version of the video do you prefer. Do you prefer a picturesque type like this, where we can zoom in, we can drag and have a closer look at the datasheet, or if you prefer a top-down view of a live, well, it's not live recording, but a live video, but of a video from top down from the same perspective. Karacnos Assault Tank. Among the frontline combat vehicles employed by the Mechanicum, only the largest, super heavy tanks can claim to match the sheer destructive power of the Karacnos. Protected by both heavy frontal armor and layers of defensive energy shields, the Karacnos is designed to assault and smash the enemy's lines. Yet, its long-range mortars also allow it to rain phosphex down upon the foe, while maniples of automata advance before it. The flexibility and brutal firepower make the Karacnos a mainstay of Tagmata heavy armored units and a threat to the foe at any range. And certainly, the statistics that this unit has are reflected in the lore, and it's reflected both ways, right? It comes at a whopping 235 points, which is pretty expensive. But what do we get for that many points? We get one unit of a Karacnos with movement of 10, which is not bad for a vehicle, ballistic skill of 4, which is again not bad. Now, the actual main thing that Karacnos shines with is its front armor. Armor 14. This is on par with Spartans, with Land Raiders, because I'm pretty sure the Spartan has also front armor 14. This thing also has side armor and rear armor of 12, which is great. And it has 7 hull points. It has no transport capacity because this is an actual combat vehicle. The armor with the combined HP and with the special rules that we look later on, makes this tank very hard to kill. Now, it is prone, like any other vehicle, to having statuses be inflicted upon it, and it can be nerfed quite heavily, as we have learned in this edition. Killing armor 14 vehicles is not particularly easy, especially for Mechanicum, as most of our weapons do struggle with armor 14. But the Marines have kinda the same problem. So anything that has 14 armor is tough to kill, especially if you can repair it. Now, it's only front armor that's 14, so you have to be careful with its positioning, and considering how large and wide and tall, well, not tall, long this model is, it might be a bit of a tricky thing to have your model take shots at the front armor. But let's look at the war gear. What does this tank offer us when it comes to the war gear? We have whole front mounted Karacnos mortal battery. That weapon is range 60, firepower 1, round strength 6, AP 4, damage 1. Range is very good, and the rest is kinda meh, right? Except the strength is also very good. But the reason why it's firepower 1 is because it's a blast weapon, and it's blast 5 inches, which is pretty good. It's barrage 2, poison 2, phage T, and pinning 3. Now, because it's poisoned, and it says in brackets 2+, that means you're wounding anything that is infantry on 2+. Considering this is a mortar battery, which has a blast template, that makes it a very good, unsafe weapon to use against toughness 4 marines, and even toughness 5, because of the strength 6. Now, it does have barrage 2, which means, but because you're using, you will be most likely using it to target the units outside of the line of sight. You will have to roll a scatter dice, which makes it a little bit less reliable. But still, if you get lucky with a good dice roll here and there, this thing can do quite a bit of damage, especially if you're playing against, let's say, a melee focus list, like maybe, let's say, World Eaters or Blood Angels, that have a lot of tightly packed combat melee units. This will be very good against them. Even though it's only AP 4, the fact that it has strength 6 and poison 2+, and it has pinning, and on top of it, it has phage T, which means that it reduces the toughness of the unit it shoots at, and I believe wounds. This makes it this is a dangerous weapon that has potential to kill quite a few marines and reduce their toughness. If you put this into Terminators, any type, you are reducing their toughness, which means that all your other all your other Mechanicum stuff suddenly increases. The weapons increase in value. Why is my jumper wet? I do not know. Anyway, yeah, no, Karacnos Mortar Battery, I think it's a good weapon because it also has a 60-inch range, so you can just plop this somewhere at your backline on your home objective and just have this thing pepper fucking anything that it wants. Now, but it also has 2 sponson mounted lightning locks. Now, what is that? It's a 36-inch weapon, 36-inch range weapon, with 1 shot again, with strength 7, AP 3 this time, and damage 2. Now, it's blast 3, which is slightly smaller, but you have 2 sponsons. So it's technically blast 6 if you target at the same time, if you manage to lock onto the same target somehow. Because it's on the sides, on both of the sides, it's the actual arcs might be difficult to angle, but at the long range, you might get lucky, right? It has Shred 5+, Breaching 5+, and Suppressive D. Suppressive 0, sorry. Shred and Breaching are nice, because Breaching effectively makes it an AP 2 weapon, right? And Shred on 5+ Shred, that's also pretty good considering you have 2 weapons. And it's a template weapon, right? So there's a chance that you might inflict an additional point of damage going up to damage 3. So these mounted lightning locks, you want to put them into enemies' Terminators because of the AP2. Sorry, AP3 with a chance of it being an AP2 on a 5-up. And with damage 3 as well. My phone is okay. Shush. You have a chance of just straight up removing a couple Terminators models every turn because it's a 3-inch blast, right? And Terminators usually are in more of a compact formation. So the weapons it has are pretty good. Now they are both blasts, so just be mindful of it. Because if you get unlucky with a scatter die, especially on the mortar battery, you will waste all your shots. So you have to be smart about positioning the blasts. Now, it has a flare shield and searchlights. What is a flare shield? If an enemy model targets you with Armor Bane weapon, it just ignores that straight away. So the enemy will not get the Armor Bane rule, which is glancing hit count as pen hits, which is massive. For an armor 14 and 12 with 7 hull points and an auto repair, this is very important to have. This makes it way harder to kill. There's a bunch of weapons that do have armor bane that are ranged weapons that are flat out negate, that this vehicle flat out negates. It also has searchlights, which ignores the shrouded damage mitigation, right? It's okay. I mean, it's useful. I think pretty much most of the vehicles have it, if I'm not mistaken. Well, at least in Mechanicum. I think the other 2 tanks also have it. But it only works if you have a line of sight to the model, right? So if you target something that's outside of with the barrage, you will not get the searchlight ability off, right? Anyway, that's its war gear. We've talked about the statline. Let's go into traits. It'll be very quick. Allegiance, you can pick between Loyalist and Heretic. And Macrotech is Macrotech. We'll get to it later on. Actually, will we... I don't think there is a point of looking at Macrotech because from what I've learned and from what I've seen online, people don't usually take the Macrotech Apex detachment. There are other detachments that are much more valuable to your army, like the Lacrimerta one, or maybe my personal favorite for the for my Talax, which is, double check this so I don't make a mistake because the names on these are eluding me. Reductor, or the Reductor if you spam Talax like I do. So you know, it's there. It's an option, but I wouldn't personally recommend it because I think there are more viable options out there. Now, this model may have up to 2 hull front, so it's a front arc shooting weapon, mounted hunter-killer missiles for 5 points per weapon. If you want to give yourself a little bit more of a anti-vehicle punch, now it's only Strat 9, well, I say only. Strat 9 is not bad, considering that it has Armor Bane on it, and it's flat 3 damage, but it is only 1 shot. So, and it's limited. So once you shoot it, that's it, it's gone. You can put up to 2 of these, so that'll be 2 extra shots. In a pinch, it's only 5 points. I'd consider taking it, making it 240 points or 245 points if you take 2 of them. It's not bad. Now, but there's more. Special abilities. We have Auto Repair 4+. Now, this ability makes this tank very difficult to kill. So, because it's a vehicle, at the end of the status's subphase, you can make a repair test. If you pass, you heal a wound. So I shouldn't say heal a wound, you repair a wound because you're a vehicle, right? So because it's a 4+, if you roll a 4 or higher, you repair a hull point, which is pretty good considering it's 7 hull points. And because you have Flare Shield, which means Armor Bane doesn't help, and because it's front 14 and side 12, meaning that a lot of weapons will not go through or will do a small amount of damage. So it's like any other tank in this new edition, where you don't really shoot the vehicles to kill them, you shoot them to inflict statuses upon them. But Auto Repair makes it very good, in my opinion. Now, we have a Shock Ram, and we also have Explodes on a 6+. So, Explode 6 is pretty simple. When this vehicle dies, you roll a dice on a 6+, you explode, and then bad things happen. But we also have a Shock Ram. If we can find it very quickly. My throat is also going. It's been very cold outside, and my throat is not doing me any favors. So, a vehicle with this special rule inflicts more damage when it moves through enemy units. Pretty straightforward. Vehicle type... The number of hits inflicted is increased from D6 to D6 plus 3 when the model with this special rule and the vehicle type moves through an enemy unit. Furthermore, if the reactive player declares a death or glory reaction, with a vehicle that has this special rule as the target, then the vehicle with this special rule gains a 6+ invul save against all hits inflicted. Death or glory is a very risky reaction, or as it is already. But if in some possible way it goes off, you have a very small chance of saving yourself. So Death or glory is a very dangerous thing to use. And even if somebody does use it, now with the Shock Ram, you have a sliver of a chance to successfully evade the reaction. Now, you can find this on page 41 in the Liber Mechanicum. And that's pretty much it. It's a heavy tank, which is kind of the equivalent of a Spartan, except doesn't have transport capacity, but it also has a mortar that it can use to fire at targets that are hidden from its line of sight. It is expensive, it's very tough, it has a lot of damage potential, and you can equip it with some anti-tank weaponry for 10 points, or 5 points, depending how many you want to take. Very straightforward. It's vehicle. The type is vehicle. As you can obviously tell, especially from the picture I posted earlier on, that looks like a fucking vehicle, so I think it is a vehicle. Although with GW, you never know. This could be an automata for all I know, even though it's trace arm macro tech, right? But no, I think that's it. It's very simple. If you want to have a big, chunky vehicle that eats a lot of your points, get the Karacnos Assault Tank, and I think you will be surprised at how tanky this thing is. Especially in a game that has less turns than before, and where the games tend to be more fast-paced. And if you can have this thing sit at your backline and absolutely pepper anything that comes in range, or even get a lucky shot off with this barrage weapon, Karacnos is your thing to use. It might be wise. Actually, before I say anything else, because I might be talking out of my ass, I just need to quickly double check something. I am not sure. Somebody in the comments, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure that a tech priest cannot attach himself to this because it's a vehicle, right? And it's not an automata. I am pretty sure it cannot. Also, it wouldn't really make sense, but it's an infantry. How? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just wanna check one thing very quickly. No, not controller. I wanted to check Battlesmith. Okay, yes. So Battlesmith rule says that you do not have to be attached to the unit. You select one friendly model within 6. It must have vehicle, automata, or walker type. You need to do an intelligence check for that model. If you pass, you repair the hull points equal to the Battlesmith value. This is crazy potential for healing. You keep a Magos around this Karacnos Assault Tank. Let's say it gets hit by Meltas or I don't know, something powerful where it will bring it down to 3 wounds. You roll your auto repair, you hit that sweet 4+. You go up to 4 wounds. Then you manage to pass your intelligence check, and on a Magos Battlesmith 3 means you heal back 3 wounds, which you are up back to 7. Yeah, so it honestly depends what type of list you want to run. But if you do plan to bring a Karacnos and maybe Cryos, either variant of the Cryos, the Battle Tank or the Venator, it might be wise to invest a little bit of points for a pure standard Magos without anything crazy going on. And maybe giving it a servo arm or something to increase its Battlesmith 3 to Battlesmith 4, and have that single lone Magos hang around the Karacnos Assault Tank if you plan to use the Assault Tank and the Cryos Venators and Battle Tanks as more of a frontline assault vehicles. Because then you can just repair with a servo arm 4 wounds if you pass the intelligence check, 4 wounds plus a wound from auto repair. So you can repair maximum of 5 HP out of 7. This is an option you have. Magos can be expensive if you give them all the crazy shit, and even bare bones it's 100 points. And with the servo arm, if you do attach an additional servo arm to it, that's additional 15 points. Bring it to 115 points. But it is a lot of healing, a lot of hull repairs that you can dish out with it. So honestly, it's your choice if you're planning to go heavy into macro tech, if you're planning to go heavy into your vehicles instead of automatas and instead of your lacrimertas and stuff. I would get a Magos and I will stick it in between behind the assault tanks to repair them. But that's just my opinion, and let me know in the comments what you think. We've just crossed 20 minutes. There is a new little ending screen that will be present on this video. It's the artwork that one of my friend artists drew for me. And I asked him to make it a 40 overall Warhammer themed, but it is mostly 40k themed. But I think it's nice, so artwork, and it fits the channel a little bit. So I left it there because it's a lot of tech priestesses combating the forces of chaos and Xenos. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Get on.